This is a longish chatty video, so feel free to mute and speed up if you don't want to chat. Hello and welcome to another sketchbook flip through. This is my sketchbook number 8 and I started this sketchbook in October. I think in my last sketchbook flip through I was showing you that I started it. I've finished it a few days ago, so I thought it would be a nice idea to record a flip through. I like those videos. I always watch them on YouTube, so I know there are people that are interested in seeing them. This is a Hanna sketchbook, Academy Aquarelle. It is 200 grams per square meter, so 200 GSM, and it's an A5 size, portrait orientation. Back page, I've just done some swatches of paints and also my thoughts at the end of the sketchbook. So this is what it is. These are stickers that I've created from my art, and these stickers are available in my Etsy shop. I will leave the link in the description box below. Okay, so we can start, and we start with the first spread. This was done on a walk. Me and my partner went for a walk in the local nature reserve, and I painted this there and then. This is the same day, Bentley Priory Nature Reserve. He was just taking some pictures and we're just sitting on a bench. It was actually a very nice day. It was October, but it was quite warm and we're just wearing like hoodies. And I painted this pond. I always struggled with painting people, and I think this is the first time I actually drew and painted my partner, and he looks a little bit more like himself, like my little nephew. When he saw this, he said, "Oh, that's Jason." So at least he's recognizable now. And then I started playing a little bit more with gouache. I got this set of Hemi 56 color gouache, but this was Hemi gouache and mixed with Arteza watercolor pencils and some Caran d'Ache neo colors. This sketchbook, it was a lot of experimenting in this one. That's another experiment, again mixed media, gouache and pencils and neo colors. I'm actually quite proud how I painted this water. I always thought that water is really hard to paint when you use gouache, but I'm actually quite proud how it turned out. Oh, these are just my palettes. I actually, every sketchbook I have, I do a spread where I have my Caran watercolors, and the two brands that I use is Roman Szmal and Winsor & Newton. And I also have a small Derwent palette, and I use some of those colors as well. So I think my next sketchbook, I'll just have to add those Derwent paints as well. Yeah, these are my go-to paints. I think Roman Szmal definitely very, very nice for landscapes. I don't know if you've seen, I'm doing this 52 Northern Line stations project. Northern Line as in London Underground, Northern Line stations. I've got 52 of them to paint all in all, and I'm currently, I think, on station 19 or 20, so I still have a few to go, but I find myself using Roman Szmal paints a lot for those. Rarely ever reach for Winsor & Newton when it comes to my stations. I don't know why. I just feel like they work better. They are both very good brands, but I just feel, I don't know, I just like my Roman Szmal paints for this. The next one, this is a watercolor and mixed media We've got fine liner here, some Posca pens, and it was done as part of the live book taster sessions back in October. The teacher was Cynthia, and basically she was showing us how to kind of play with watercolors and just do marks and what you can create afterwards. And this was actually the first time that I've done this sort of an abstract with watercolors, and since then I've been doing them quite a lot, and I like it, especially sometimes when I want to create something and don't know what. I just put some music on and I'll grab my paints and just make a few blobs, and then I start doodling and drawing lines and dots. It's very relaxing and very meditative, so I highly recommend this. This was done again as part of Live Book 2023 taster sessions. This spread was Tamara Laporte lesson, Quirky Birds. It's actually representations of myself and my partner. You can see me with a paintbrush and my partner thinking about dumbbells and gym. Yeah, I do like it. I like bright colors, and I think doing this sort of thing is just super cool, as you can just put whatever colors you want and no one is going to judge you. I mean, no one's going to judge you anyway, and even if they do, so what? Whatever you do, whatever stage of your art journey you are currently in, I think you should not worry about what other people think. Just worry about, you know, whether creating is making you happy or is not. If it makes you happy, then yay, that's the aim, you know, just keep doing. And the next spread, that was like a diary for that day, and it was actually one of Kushokune. I don't even know how to pronounce her name. It's a really nice Dutch lady, a very, very talented and amazing urban sketcher. And she is here on YouTube, and you definitely heard of her. She does, she used to do sketchbook school. I don't think she's one of the teachers anymore, but she does her videos for Tuesday, and it's called Draw Tip Tuesday. And one of the Draw Tip Tuesday videos was to prepare your page for the day, and I did what she suggested. I just painted little boxes of spaces on my page, and then I took my sketchbook with me when I went out. It was my day off, and I documented what I did during the day. So coffee, the car I parked opposite to in the car park, and then some random people in a cafe. I used to be so worried about sketching in public, but I don't care anymore. And just a few things. I got a cider, Swedish cider that me and my friend had in the evening, and that day I was watching Sketchbook School. That must have been a Thursday then, because Sketchbook School is always on a Thursday, so must have been a Thursday. So that was Sketchbook School. That was the same day. That was Thursday, and we were painting bold people. Be bold and be free day. Some of these people I don't know. I mean, the only person I don't know is this person, Joel Brenner, I think. Not sure who he was. Of course, Telly Savalas, The Rock, and Samuel L. Jackson, and all these famous people. And then you've got Danny Gregory. And each sketch was a 5-minute sketch, 5-minute drawing. So once the timer went off, stop, and then we draw the next one. That was done in gouache and pencils and neocolors, I think, mostly gouache, and it was one of the challenges on Instagram. There was another mixed media imaginary place, scenery. I played with complementary colors, blue and orange, and I was just seeing what can I make out of this. And I made this little scene with sheep. This was done in such frenzy. I still remember today when I painted it. I was coming back from work and it was heaving down with rain. It was horrible. It was windy. And I came in and my first thought was, I need to paint this. I need to draw this. And I just took my shoes off, took my jacket off, dropped my bag, and went straight to my studio and opened the sketchbook, and I just started playing with my paints and with everything I had available on my desk. There is a video for this as well on my channel, so feel free to check that out. But it was very impulsive, and you know, like sometimes you just get this need that you need to create something. It was one of those times. Right. What can I say? I think there's a lot of sketchbooks like this when you have stuff that you are really proud of and things that you hate really. And these, especially this one, is one of those. I don't mind this one. It's not my favorite, but I just don't mind it. But this one I hate, and I was going to paint it over or stick something on top of that, and then I decided against it because it is one of those, like, I don't know. Anyway, I think I was just testing my new Derwent Inktense pencils, and I just wanted to play with them and do something, and it just went wrong. But I think it's nice to have this as a reminder that, you know, not everything in life we do is and can be perfect, and it really is not about being perfect. It's not about my sketchbook being perfect. It's about a learning process, and it's about what I've learned doing this spread. And I think I've learned not to do this again, I think. Yes, flip over. Now it's done again as part of this pencil testing idea I had in mixing media. It's not very successful again, but yeah, it's there. That was done mixed media as well. This is, as you can see, I turned it into a little sticker, and it is available in my Etsy shop. I like this owl. And here we've got a number of another few little paintings. These were done in a similar technique as this, but I think because I just put in a little bit more effort into it, and I don't know, I like them. This is done from a picture that my partner has taken on one of his photo walks, and it probably wasn't as bright and colorful as it is here, but I just wanted to play with color and experiment. And this was imaginary, I think, and that was a reference picture from Pinterest. And I actually like how this tree turned out, having everything so dark, and then, you know, having that light crayon or pencil on top. I think it worked really, really well. I like this actually. That's another few watercolor abstracts, just like this one. Same thing, just started as few blobs on the page, and then it turned into some crazy, I don't know, this is I don't know, this reminds me of an underwater something. I know I see flowers here and rainbows, and then I've got those jellyfishes and like fish scale. So it's not under the sea theme, but It's kind of crazy, but I like it. I like the combination of bright colors with this Payne's Grey. I think Payne's Grey looks really, really nice with like a bright pink and turquoise colors. I just love it. And then I love those 2 pages for sure. That was a challenge that was done with gouache, because I aimed to paint a little bit more with gouache and to practice, and it's okay, it's nothing special. And then I had some gouache left over on my palette and I painted this abstract-y looking thing. For me, it's such a no pressure thing to do. This doesn't have to look like anything, it doesn't have to represent anything. As long as I'm putting the colors that I like on paper and making them pop, I'm really happy with this. And I like this bit as well. I think doing stuff like this creates ideas for the future, because even if you don't like the whole spread, there will be bits that you will like, and I like this part, so I might use it in the future. I don't know, maybe when I'm working on canvas, or maybe in another spread like this. But I do like this bit. This was just doodling in front of the TV. I wanted to create something, I didn't know what, and I wasn't feeling very inspired, and I just started to doodle, and kind of reminds me of jelly babies, jelly beans. And this was done as part of an Instagram challenge. It was drawn with a fountain pen, and then I just added my Derwent Inktense pencils and just went with the water brush over it, just spread the colors. And I think I love this. I love how this blue is popping off, that blue and the red, they're popping off that page, and I really, really like it. It was a very quick drawing, but I think it's quite effective. These were another 2 challenges that was done on Instagram. I think Bernard Sombert reposted it, and I joined in because I didn't have anything else to draw. This was actually my own challenge. I am a train driver, and for a time, I think for about 3 weeks, in the depot that I work from, we had this defective engineering train stabled on one of the roads, and one day I took a picture and then I set it up as a challenge on Instagram and I drew it, but I drew it in one continuous line. This I've never done before, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was challenging because you don't know where to start really, but once you start, once you put that pen on a paper, everything just starts making sense. You just go from one place to another, to another, to another, and I think it just looks really cool. I do like it. That was more of one continuous line drawings, and then yeah, I drew roosters, or kogut in my language. We call them kogut. I am Polish, so that's where the accent is from. I painted the roosters and drew them first, continuous line, and then painted them. There were references from Pexels, I think. But yeah, that was fun, and they were all done with Derwent paints. This was done during Christmas. There was a Christmas tree at my mum's. Yeah, that was fun to paint. I don't think I've ever painted or drew my Christmas tree. This is the first time I've painted any Christmas tree, so it will be a memory for me because I've not been home for Christmas for about 9 years. So it was very nice to go back, and it was very nice to be able to decorate this tree, especially that some of the bulbs that were hanging there, they're so old. I think they're older than me. I've just turned 42, and some of these bulbs, they're probably even more than that. So it was very, very nice. That was done during Christmas as well, and it was actually done with my nephew. My nephew is 5 years old, and we were both drawing. He's very talented for his age, and he wanted to draw, so I was like, okay, let's draw the gnomes. And my mum had this shelf with the gnomes and the little house thingy majiggy. I just put the gnomes on the table in front of us, so he would see, he would paint what he saw in front of him. He wasn't copying. You know, sometimes I would give him a tip, like, okay, start with the foot and then draw the belly and then the nose and then a hat. But most of it he just drew from what he was seeing. Yeah, that was my nephew as well. He wanted me to draw this for him. And this is just a view from my window. I had 10 15 minutes before I had to go somewhere, and I just sat down and just drew what I saw. That was done over 2 or 3 days, I think. There's different locations in my home. And that's another crazy thing. I love this stuff. I love those colors. That was done as I was just feeling very creative, and I wanted to draw, and there is a video of me drawing this on my YouTube channel. It was my kitchen. That was done as part of Ian Fernley's Urban Sketching for Beginners course. I got this course, purchased it last year, and I think there were 4 lessons, but I've only done 3. This was lesson number 4, and I finally done it, and I was so happy with how this turned out, because going back to last year when I was doing the 3 other sketches, I can clearly see the difference in my technique, in my style. I see so much improvement, and that's why I feel it's amazing to keep a sketchbook, because you can always refer to it and go back and see how much you've improved, even though you might think you haven't day to day, but only when you look at your old sketches, old work, you can really see the improvement and the progress that you've made. Yes, so this is a galaxy. Last year, towards the end of last year, I got myself a set of super granulating paints by Schminke, and I've just watched them, but I've never actually used them. I didn't have time, so I had few pages left in my sketchbook, so I thought, yeah, let me just try them, and this is what I have. I will have a video coming for this, so keep an eye for that. And this page, it was loose. I was going to paint with my nephew when I went home for Christmas, but we never managed, so I didn't want to waste it, so I just used some very pretty washi tape that I got from Mrs. Scraps and just stuck it in here. This again was done with the super granulating colors by Schminke, but this set is called Deep Sea. I got this set for Christmas from my partner, and it started as just swatching the colors because I didn't have an idea what I want to paint. So again, I just started with few blobs of paint on the paper, and then it started doing its lovely thing that watercolors do, and granulating. Like, this granulation is just amazing. I love it. And then I dried it, and then got my Posca pens and my fine liners, and that's where we ended up with a lot of weird things going on. Some sea monsters and little fishes and weird stuff, but it is fun. I love creating like this. I think the sky is the limit when you do stuff like that. this is the last spread from a sketchbook. This was done in response to Helen Wells' lesson, chapter, paragraph in her book about using complementary colors and also muted / neutral colors, and how they work together, and you know, how to bring things forward, how to move things back, stuff like that. And she suggested, you know, if you're reading this book, do 3 to 4 spreads using complementary colors, and this is what I've done. This is pretty much just the, you know, orange and blue on the page, but here I actually done something else. I've added blobs of paint first, and then I mixed the cobalt turquoise and this orange together, created a neutral tone, and then added a little bit of white to it. So some people call it mad. For me, it's just a neutral color. And I filled up the gaps. You can't see it here, obviously, but I filled in the gaps between the blue and the orange. And then I've added some neo colors, you will see here, on top of that. Let everything dry, and then I put a thin layer of gesso on top, just to mute everything down, just to calm it down a little bit. And afterwards I went in with watercolors again, my blue and my orange, and I created those blobs. And on top of that I went with my Posca marker and created those strange looking things. There it is. And the very last page of my sketchbook is my swatch card and also my thoughts. And my thoughts on this book was, I'll just read it out to you. I think I found love for doing abstracts. My fave is watercolor backgrounds with patterns on top. I should explore this more in next sketchbooks. So yeah, even, you know, I left a note to myself that this is what you've enjoyed. You need to explore this more. So yes, that's the plan. I think I will have a sketchbook for this sort of thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, leave thumbs down. At least I know I'm doing something wrong. And if you didn't like it, just maybe leave me a comment why you didn't like it, because it helps me improve. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.